Hey, thanks so much. Sorry about that. I got cut off. I'm back here. It's Johnson about FarEastAdvTravl in Taipei, and people are just waiting for the premier of Taiwan to come out from the train station here and make some announcements or speak on the earthquake disaster in southern Taiwan. Thanks for inviting your followers. And I'm in the basement of the train station, the bottom floor of the train station here in Taipei. So there's an earthquake that happened centered in southern Taiwan about 4 o'clock in the morning this morning. 6.4 on the Richter scale. 5 fatalities so far. A 17th floor building collapsed, apartment building. They're pulling people out right now. They're trying to recover people right now. And there's 1,500 search and rescue crews down in Tainan where this happened, about 300 kilometers south of Taipei, in tropical Taiwan. So the southern portion of Taiwan is tropical. Tainan was the former capital of Taiwan before the Japanese colonized Taiwan. It's a beautiful city, lots of Japanese colonial buildings, ancient Chinese culture, temples, incredible food culture, and wonderful people. I've always had wonderful experiences when I visit Tainan. I always meet just the most friendliest people in the world there. Very, very sad to see this disaster happening, especially during the Lunar New Year travel time. So the announcement that was just made a few minutes ago was that all of the high-speed rail service in southern Taiwan has now been canceled. The travel is only happening to Taichung, and it's not happening anywhere south of Taichung, which is central Taiwan. So this was an earthquake that happened here this morning. 5 people killed, about a couple of hundred injured, and the count will probably go higher. I don't know, but that was the last time I checked the latest news from BBC and CNN. It's 4 a.m. in the morning, so it was about 9 hours ago. It's almost 1:30 in the afternoon here. Hey, how are you? John Ho from Hong Kong. Thanks for joining me here. John Ho is a great guy. He scopes from Hong Kong. You can follow him, just tap him. Well, it's not okay here in Taiwan, John. It's they just canceled the high-speed rail service for southern Taiwan during the Lunar New Year migration, and 5 people have been killed in the earthquake, and so maybe a couple hundred people injured. They've got 1,500 people, search and rescue people down in Tainan right now, trying to pull survivors out of this one particular apartment building, although there's been others that have collapsed as well, but this one particular 17th floor apartment building that saw the most damage. High-rise buildings, yes, and the problem with this earthquake is Taiwan gets lots of earthquakes. It has, many of the buildings here are properly built, but this earthquake was close to the surface inland. Yeah, I know there's lots of earthquakes in California. I know people are used to them in California, and they are here too. People are very used to earthquakes here. It's a regular way of life. I'm here all the time, not all the time, but I'm here most of the year, and I feel them all the time, and I'm just used to them. It's just something you get used to. And it's not a bad thing if you're in an earthquake zone to be getting a lot of earthquakes. It's better than to get one big one. And this isn't the biggest one that I felt, but it was the strongest, I think. It hit the hardest because it was just below the surface and it was inland. Many of the earthquakes here are offshore. So I'm actually in the main station of Taipei's train station right now, and this is all of Taiwan media, television, photographers, reporters, all here waiting for the premier of Taiwan to come out. And he's probably been traveling. I don't know. I honestly don't know why he's coming out here, but perhaps he's been traveling or he is going to be traveling. But they have canceled the high-speed rail service for southern Taiwan. So they just made an announcement a few minutes ago that the service will only go as far as Taichung, which is central Taiwan. So it's going to be very hard for people to travel home for the holidays if they're from the south. I was in Taipei. I was in my apartment in Taipei, and I was safe. Hey, Claire. Thanks. I honestly, I mean, it's embarrassing, but I slept through it. I slept right through it. I talked to my landlord earlier, and he was woken up, and he said it lasted a minute, and he's a floor below me. So I know it would have been felt by many people here in Taipei, but I've not seen any reports or heard of any damage in Taipei or in northern Taiwan. Most of this damage is centered in southern Taiwan. So this is the media that's gathered here, and this is Taipei's main station. You can see it's very busy because it's Chinese New Year. It's New Year's Eve tomorrow night. People are all psyched to head home and travel for the holiday. It's a long holiday. Most people will have all of next week off, so it's like a 9-day holiday for many people. So this is going to really throw a lot of people out for their vacation plans for sure. I heard that China felt it. Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure. I'm Canadian, from Vancouver, Canada, British Columbia. So yes, I did hear reports that it was felt in mainland China as well. And on another note, there was an earthquake in Nepal again, 5.5. Very cool. Thank you. I spoke to some friends this morning in Kathmandu, and they said it was strong, but they're okay. It was just a jolt, but it was 5.5, and I think it was close to Kathmandu. Yeah, there's a lot of shaking going on around the world right now. Rescue's still going on. They have 1,500 search and rescue people down in Tainan right now, and these guys are, some of the best in the world. They're trained for typhoons, earthquakes. They have lots of experience. These guys know what they're doing. They're very, very, very good at what they do. So they've got the best people down there right now helping. Oh, thanks, Claire. Thank you so much. Thanks, John. Thanks for inviting your followers. John Ho in Hong Kong. Please follow him too. He's great. He's awesome. This is Taipei main station, and media here is patiently waiting for the premier of Taiwan to come out and make an announcement. The president of Taiwan is down in Tainan right now. Thanks, John. And he is assessing the damage, and will obviously be meeting with people. And that's the situation right now here. And the high-speed rail's been canceled. So many people it will throw many people's plans out for going south. Many people in Taiwan that live in Taipei have family somewhere else, so they come to Taipei for jobs and work, but they'll go home for the Lunar New Year. They will go to their family home, to their parents' home, grandparents' home, and celebrate the Lunar New Year. So this is going to throw a lot of plans out for many people here, and that announcement was just made a few minutes ago. Honestly, I don't know all the particulars. I mean, the president has the most power. Typically in these kinds of situations, the premier handles more internal things, and the president the premier isn't involved as much in the external workings of the government. So the premier is sort of more internal, and the president is overall the guy in control. Yeah, exactly, like in France. So it's kind of a similar setup like that. But I don't know. I don't know all the particulars. I don't cover politics, so. And I'm kind of holding my spot here right now because I would walk around. I can pan around the phone a little bit more, but I'm holding my spot here in case I'm right next to all of the camera people and reporters. So I kind of got a prime spot to see when the premier is going to come out of Taiwan. And thanks, it was a 6.4, but it was close to the surface, and it was inland, so it wasn't an offshore earthquake. So it's why the danger, or the devastation is as high as it is. No, he won't speak English. He definitely won't. I assume that he won't speak English, and I can't translate for you. I don't know that much of the language, so. But it'll be interesting to see if we can wait. If I can wait this long for him to come out. And I don't understand. I understand very little of the language, so I won't be able to tell you. I won't be able to translate or anything. So I'm being quite honest and upfront with you on that. I'm not I'm a travel journalist at heart. I write about people and culture, and I travel all over Asia. So I know a little bit about everything, but I don't know this language as well as I'd like to. But I appreciate that. Thank you. So I'm assuming because everybody's waiting outside of here, the premier of Taiwan is coming off of a train from somewhere. And this is the high-speed rail exit. So it's after 1:30 p.m. in the afternoon here in Taiwan on Saturday, just for a time update. And so I'm assuming he's coming off of a train from somewhere, and the president of Taiwan is headed down to Tainan. I believe he was on a plane a few hours ago, and it's a very short flight down there. So I'm assuming he's at the site now, assessing what's going on, and will be consoling with people there. No, I'm not here as media. I'm an independent writer and broadcaster, so I'm not here with any official media. I don't work for any official media company. I'm independent. I produce online content, a couple of travel podcasts called FarEastAdvTravl that are on iTunes and on my website, FarEastAdvTravl.com. Oh, you're welcome. But I really talk more about the people side, the culture, and travel, and try to inspire people to come and visit all places in East Asia, Southeast Asia, and South Asia. So I'm not a heavy reporter here. And Periscope is amazing to have this tool in your hand that you can share this with other people, and other people can see what other people go through and other people suffering as well. It makes everybody better, you know. So I'm outside of one of the gates here. Absolutely. I'm outside one of the gates of the high-speed rail, which was just canceled for southern Taiwan, where a lot of people would have been heading for the holidays and will be desperate to get home if they have family there, for sure, especially if they've had any damage to their homes. Guatemala, hello. And the media right now is waiting for the premier of Taiwan to come out, but I think there might be some delay here. I have no idea when he's coming out. So it appears that everybody seems to be fairly relaxed, so it might be a little while. I don't know if he's had a train delay or what. But I'm just staying here just in case he comes out and if there's anything else that happens. But I haven't felt any aftershocks here. Quite often, if you're walking around Taipei, I think sometimes you might feel it, but I've never, to be honest, I've never felt an earthquake anywhere other than in my apartment. So I've never felt one on a train or in another building or anywhere I've been. I've only felt them in my apartment. And the worst one was last year, and it was just before I went to Nepal to check out the devastation after the earthquake in Nepal. And I actually arrived in Nepal on May 12th, which was I arrived just after the second big earthquake there. But just a few days before, I felt a 6.8 here in Taiwan, and it was fairly strong. It was centered offshore, and a lot of them are offshore. So Taipei doesn't always get a lot of damage because of where it lays on the island. But this particular earthquake was inland in southern Taiwan. So that's why it's made such big news. There's earthquakes here all the time in Taiwan. It lies on a couple of tectonic plates that join. It's also it's very can be a very dangerous place to swim offshore in the waters here, because there's a huge drop off. There is no gradual descent into deep ocean. The deep ocean comes very quickly here in Taiwan, so it's just in this epicenter of earthquakes, typhoons. So a lot of natural disasters happen here, and they have some really strongly trained people that will do their best to get these people out and get as many survivors out of that building as possible, and any other buildings that have that have had any damage in mostly southern Taiwan. But there's I know I've seen people talking about fracking, but I've heard of that in North America, but there's none of that goes on here. They don't have those types of natural resources here, so this is just a natural disaster that happens. Building standards are very high here. I mean, they are in a typhoon and earthquake zone. So, I mean, I've been here through typhoons, and all you need to do in most cases is just sit inside your house until the typhoon's over, and nothing's going to happen if you're in a well-made house. And most of the buildings here are up to code for that. They have to be, because the earthquakes happen here all the time. Typhoons happen here all the time during typhoon season. And I did hear about the earthquake in Kathmandu. So I heard it was a 5.5. So I spoke to some friends this morning in Kathmandu, Nepal, and they're all fine. They got shooken up a bit. I haven't heard back from everybody. And I haven't heard of any northern travel disruption yet, although there could be some delays, train delays, because it might upset everything else. I mean, some of these trains go from south to north, so if somebody is catching a train that originates out of the south, then they're probably going to be delayed. So it's quite possible that there's train delays in the north as well. But the latest news was they canceled all of the high-speed rail service in southern Taiwan. So that's going to make it really hard for people that were counting on getting down to Tainan or Kaohsiung or one of the southern cities in Taiwan that you can connect by high-speed rail. So the high-speed rail runs up and down the west coast of Taiwan, and you can get from Taipei all the way to the south on an express train in 90 minutes. It's incredible. It's like over 400 kilometers, or roughly between 300 and 400 kilometers. 300 kilometers to Tainan, and you can do that easily in an hour and a half. And it's modeled after the Shinkansen in Japan, the high-speed train in Japan. This high-speed rail was installed by the Japanese, and I'm standing outside of a high-speed rail train gate right now. And so all train service is going to stop in central Taiwan now, in Taichung. So people are only going to be able to get as far as central. And hopefully, if they can get on that, they can at least catch a bus, a couple-hour bus ride down to where they want to go in southern Taiwan. But it definitely would throw people's plans out for sure. Oh, thank you, Claire. Thank you so much for sharing with everybody as well. It's very cool. And give me a shout out where you are while things have kind of quieted down. I'd like to take a moment to say hello and thank you to everybody that's watching around the world. This is not a normal day. Hello, LA, Dallas, Texas, Louisiana, Michigan, Hawaii, lots of the United States. That's awesome. Thank you. San Jose, Dallas, Cape Cod, Sacramento. Very good. Thank you so much. Toronto, Canada, but originally from Vancouver. Well, that's awesome. Thank you. I'm from Vancouver. San Diego, Montreal, Arizona. Oh, lots of people from all over the United States and Canada. That's great. LA, hello. And so Guatemala, hola, Nebraska, hello. So if you're just joining me, I'm John Sabo. I'm a broadcast journalist, freelance podcaster. I produce a podcast called FarEastAdvTravl, video and audio. on iTunes, and I'm here in Taipei at Taipei Main Station. There was a devastating earthquake here at 4 a.m. in the morning in southern Taiwan, centered in southern Taiwan, Brooklyn, New York. Hello, and some of the train service has been canceled now, and the media is all here waiting for the premier of Taiwan to come out and make a speech or speak with the media. And hello, Florida. And the president of Taiwan is in Tainan, where a lot of the damage has happened, and he's down there right now. And it was a 6.4 at 4 a.m. this morning. Thank you so much. 6.4. But it was close to the surface inland. Okay, it wasn't an offshore earthquake. So the offshore earthquakes, as strong as they are, I mean, they're just, you can't compare it to an inland, close to the surface earthquake. So very, very strong. Fancy meeting me in Taipei. Well, fancy meeting you. It was a 17-floor building, and it's collapsed. 22 kilometers deep. Is that right? And I believe it's considered close to the surface. Five people killed so far. At least 150 to 200 injured. And there are other buildings in the area that are injured as well, but this one is because I think there's still people trapped inside. They're trying to get out, and they have excuse me, about 1,500 emergency search and rescue workers there right now, trying to pull victims out and save lives. You know. And I don't know why the press conference is here. I'm assuming because the premier has been traveling on the train, and he is going to be coming off of the train here. And this is the exit of the high-speed rail train station, one of the exits. And so I'm just assuming that it's here because he's just coming off the train, and he's made himself available once he's off the train. So that's probably why it's here right now. And this is all Taiwan media. There's maybe a dozen cameras here from different outlets and local and freelance. Yeah, that's great. I'm glad. You know, and you know, there's definitely a lot of people that are okay here. Of course, if you're from Taiwan, if you're in Taiwan now, it's probably good to let everybody you know on Facebook or some other way that you're okay. Facebook has a great feature now when there's a natural disaster in an area. It will prompt you to, because it knows you by geography, will prompt you to confirm that you're okay. And I've only had to do this once before when I was in Kathmandu during the last big earthquake there. And it's a great feature because it lets people know right away that you're okay. Not only natural disasters, that's right, too, terrorist attacks as well, which is what you're talking about probably, Claire, in Paris, right? During exactly in Paris during the terrorist attacks, they did the same thing. So it's not only for natural disasters, it's for any kind of you know, disaster, war, terrorist attack, anything like that, and it is a good feature. Well, I'd have to have a train ticket to go inside there. So that gate is, you need a train ticket to go inside. And so that's why I'm standing outside here with all the media. Always brings out the goodness. Okay, thanks, Claire. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate you. Thank you. Make sure you follow Claire. And I will hang in here a little bit longer. I might take a break. I'm going to try to find out how long it is before the Premier is going to be coming out here. Thank you so much. So I'm just going to take a break right now, and just stay tuned. Watch for the notifications. I will come back the minute that the Premier comes back out here. But I'm just going to take a break for a bit. So thank you so much for joining me. Make sure you follow me, and I will come back soon. Thank you. Thank you. 谢谢. 谢谢. Bye bye.